Got some breaking news for you guys on this Friday afternoon. First bit of breaking news, just a bit of a reminder. The week of April 9th, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to try to pre-record a handful of videos for that week, but if you don't see me for the entire week, just know I will be back. But I have more important news to share with you. This is important. Very, very critical. I would hate to see you guys caught up in court for violating the woke commandments. This week, Deacons at Woke United Methodist, they have given us a new directive. They used the birthing persons who identify as executives at CBS News to deliver this directive to us plebes. They've added a new word to the woke dictionary of banned words. I was informed last night we are no longer allowed to use this term. Are you ready? The word is transgender. Yeah. The T word. KC, how are we supposed to identify male birthing persons who want to transition to female? I don't know. Maybe you stick with something generic like birthing organism. Organism's kind of a vague term, very safe. It could be used to identify a person, an animal, or even a garden tool. That way you have all your bases covered. According to the New York Post, executives at CBS implemented this ban because they wanted to be cognizant. They wanted to show their sensitivity toward the community of transitioners. Why? What the hell's going on with the mainstream media in this country? The media. We all used to celebrate survivors. Now we celebrate fake victims. We used to empathize with the families of real victims. Now the mainstream media, they want us to empathize with the shooter. No wonder CBS News consistently ranks dead last amongst the three major broadcast networks. And look, I am not saying the news divisions at ABC or NBC are any better. Both networks are working hard to obtain grade A shitfuck status. They're really close to that achievement too. Thanks to our friends at NBC, we now know who is to blame for the tragedy in Nashville. It's not 28-year-old Audrey Hale, you know, the birthing person in that video carrying the thing that closely resembled a gun. KC, do not fall into the trap of misgendering. The alleged shooter's name wasn't Audrey anymore. She was now choosing to identify as Aiden. Yeah, sure. You know what? Tomorrow morning, I'm going to choose to identify as an NBA player. I'm going to decide that I deserve to be paid millions of dollars for only showing up for half the season. Then I'm going to wake up from that dream and get right back to work. According to Benjamin Ryan from NBC News, a man so confused with his gender identity that he gave himself two first names. According to Benny, all the blame for the tragedy in Nashville belongs to Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. How did he come to this conclusion? The headquarters for the Daily Wire are located in Nashville. The tragedy executed by Audrey Hale or Aiden Spaden, doesn't matter what her name is, the tragedy also took place in Nashville. So naturally the blame falls on the Daily Wire. Okay. Let me be sure I'm understanding this logic correctly. According to this logic, Gavin Newsom is to blame for the wildfires in California every year. He's the governor of California. Wildfires take place in California. Therefore, it's all his fault. According to ABC News, GOP lawmakers are also to blame. Why? The reason is obvious. They refuse to abolish the Second Amendment. If we could implement gun control along with defunding the police, it would ensure normal people have no way to protect themselves, while also ensuring criminals have access to all the guns. This will cause normal people to come running to us in the government for the solution, which the solution is always less freedom and more government control. We don't have to take ABC's word for it. Watch for yourself as New York Congressman Jamal Bowman makes a complete ass of himself. Roll the film.
Freaking cowards. They're gutless. They're not here. I'm talking about gun violence.
You know, there's never been
I'm talking about gun
in a
violence.
school that allows teachers to carry.
Carry guns? You think more guns lead to more death? More guns lead to more death. Look at the data. You're not looking at any data. You're carrying the water for the gun lobby.
No, no.
Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. States that have open carry laws have more deaths.
In every school
States that have open carry laws have more deaths.
There's never been a shooting.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yeah, calm down.
Calm down. Children are dying.
I know, I've got
9-year-old children. The solution is not arming teachers.
That's
Have you ever
worked
worked
in
in a
every
school?
school. In
Have
every
you
school,
ever worked
they've
in a
done it.
school?
In every
Have you ever worked in a school? Have you ever worked in a school? It's a yes or no question. Have you ever worked in a school? You will not answer my question. Don't stop and talk to me. Okay, I'll bring it down a notch.
All right, folks.
Have you ever worked in a school?
I've got a bill to repeal.
I worked in the school for 20 years. I was a teacher. I was screaming before you came and interrupted me. I worked in the school for 20 years. I worked in the school 20 years. I was a teacher. I was a school counselor. I was a middle school principal.
More guns lead to more death. Huh. I find that rather ironic coming from a sitting congressman from New York City. Cities like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Seattle, they have the strictest gun laws in the country. You know what else they have? The highest murder rates. Even with all this insanity from ABC and NBC News and that doofus who identifies as a congressman, none of that can top the shitfuckery coming from CBS News. This ban on the use of the word transgender, it sparked legitimate outrage amongst staffers at the network. Not fake outrage. Talking about real outrage. CBS staffers, they borrowed a trick from employees at CNN. They ran to the New York Post to air their grievances with the network. Why do you think this keeps happening with the New York Post? Why do you think people collecting woke welfare from these useless corporate media outlets, why do you think they keep running to the New York Post with their shovels filled with dirt? Because they know the Post will accurately report the story. They trust that the New York Post will give their readers the truth. Several CBS staffers expressed their outrage to the Post. They complained that they were being handcuffed by executives. They accused CBS of not practicing real journalism. They accused executives at the network of bias and forcing on-air talents to skew their reporting to fit the personal narratives of CBS executives. Well, no shit! The rest of us normal people, we have known this for years. There is no such thing as journalism anymore in the woke media. CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, it's nothing but highly produced propaganda. It's garbage. You can polish the turd all you want. You can make it all nice and shiny, possibly even make it look appealing. But at the end of the day, it's still a turd. You may be wondering why CBS News has banned use of the word transgender. Luckily for us, they gave us an explanation. We are temporarily banning this word because the shooter's gender identity hasn't been confirmed. Pretty sure Nashville police have confirmed that Aiden Audrey was transgender. Here at CBS, we don't trust the police. Cops should be defunded and replaced with social workers who have a better understanding of the gender selection process. CBS also claimed the gender identity of the shooter, their transgender status, had zero relevance to the story. You cannot be serious. If a white man is involved in a mass shooting, the entire focus of the mainstream media is on his race and gender. A white man can shoot another white dude. The media will find a way to twist the story into a case of mythical racism. He used a black gun. That's an obvious sign of discrimination and racism. But when the shooter identifies as an identifier, CBS wants to bury the information. Earlier this week, might have been yesterday, there was a riot at the Tennessee State Capitol building, kind of similar to the riot at the federal Capitol building on January 6, 2021. You know the riot I'm talking about, the one the woke media refuses to forget about. During this peaceful protest in Tennessee yesterday, rioters, they were screaming about the number of victims involved in the shooting in Nashville. Guess who they included with the number? The shooter! You guys might not have heard about this peaceful protest yesterday. Don't feel uninformed if you didn't, because most woke media outlets hadn't picked up the story. These rioters, they use children to push for gun control. That's always the answer, gun control. They don't want to focus on mental health. The answer is always take away guns from law-abiding citizens. Woke media outlets like CBS News, they like to pretend that gun violence, mass shootings are an epidemic in this country. Guess how many mass shootings have happened since 1999? In the last 24 years, there have been 15 mass shootings that claimed the lives of 175 people. Obviously, 15 far too many. Hell, one is far too many, but that's not even one mass shooting a year. If you want to live in a free society, that freedom comes with risk. Politicians claim gun control will keep us safer. There's no such thing as safe. The same politicians preaching gun control are the same ones pushing to defund the police. It's not about gun control. It's about total control. In the woke media, it's the vehicle used to paint the narrative. It's not about control. It's about safety. We must keep our children safe. Well, if that's the case, how come you're empathizing with the shooter? This is another case of the media talking out of both sides of their ass. One bun is preaching about the safety of our children. The other bun is pushing you to empathize with Audrey Hale. What's located right in the middle? The nice grilled woke wiener. The mainstream media in this country is an absolute disgrace. This weekend, there was supposed to be a Trans Day of Vengeance in Washington, D.C. The event was canceled yesterday, but the intent of this event was to get vengeance on the supposed targeting of birthing persons who identify with the letter T. Now, where did this mythical targeting originate? The mainstream media. They created this fairy tale that transgender people are being targeted by normal people, when the reality is they're the ones looking through the scope. But give me your thoughts. CBS News bans use of the word transgender. Will you comply? I know trust in the media is at an all-time low, but the media is still very powerful whether we like it or not. They have successfully divided the country. I can't think of another time the country has been this divided, at least in my lifetime. Do you think it's even possible for the country to be reunited? What would need to happen for that to occur? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.